be great is if I did something super awkwardly different than what I did in that one was just up here. Next up on stage is Ski. Put your hands together for me. So I don't play music. I sometimes sing music, but one of the other things I do is I just talk. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just talk for a minute. The dog looked really guilty and sad as it walked away from me, a little bit of my knee still in its teeth. And I was so shocked at being bitten that I didn't even let go of the lawnmower. I just stopped and I looked down at my knee where blood was kind of groggily oozing out and then slowly running down my leg. I love dogs. And I don't give a shit how much I loved dogs. For the next easily 4 years, every time a dog would come up to say hi to me, and I was probably encouraging it to, like, who's the good puppy you are? There was still this twinge of fear inside. There was still this little bit that went, oh, before the dog approached. We like to think of ourselves as rational. The view of mankind that we have of ourselves is one of a fairly rational creature. We kind of know that we're not, that we're actually emotional wrecks, but we like to tell ourselves that actually we're very, very rational. We make things for the right reasons, decisions for the right reasons. I would like to take you someplace with this speech, but I want to do it in kind of an indirect and wandering path. So we're going to take this bit about the dog and we're just going to kind of put it up here for a second. And we're going to instead talk about video games for a little bit. I love video games. I'm a huge video game nerd. And some of the best games, the games that I have the most fun at, are first-person shooter games where I'm pretending to shoot some other person in the virtual head with a virtual gun, and then I get to virtually teabag them, or, to be completely honest, more likely they're going to do that to me because I'm a middle-aged dude who gets maybe a couple hours a week to play, so
What begs the question?
I'm not very good.
What happened to Duck Hunter?
So, I used to love playing these games. I played a ton of them until I realized something. How incredibly easy it was to cheat. I have a friend who is actually really good and much better than I am, but he just loves to cheat because he just likes winning more than he likes feeling good about himself again. I don't know why. But it pissed me off how fucking easy it was. He went out, spent $14, and then in the same game that I was playing, he would turn off the walls so you could see through them. It would put a halo around me of the color of my team so he could see before I came around a wall. He could stand at one edge of the virtual battlefield and fire a pistol and hit me in the head every single time. And I stopped playing the game. It doesn't matter that maybe the guy who shot me with a pistol at the other end of the map wasn't cheating. I can't care anymore because I can't tell that you're not cheating. I have some friends who are professional video game players who can do astounding things and never fucking cheat. And they get called cheaters all the time, so I am extremely conservative in my criticism of other people's playing. But even then, some of the most egregious motherfuckers in those games make it impossible not to think, that dude's cheating. I might have won, but that dude was cheating. Let's put that in a bubble. We'll put it up here next to the dog. I have a friend. We're pretty good friends. We talk about romance and stuff like that. And she had a husband that was distant. So we took her out one day, made reservations in a really nice restaurant, took her out to a really nice meal, and she was thinking, maybe this is the time when he turns his life around, when we really get back together, when he puts the effort in. Instead, in the middle of this beautiful, high-class restaurant, he said, "You're too fat, I'm not attracted to you anymore. I want a divorce." He's a fucker. Like, super hardcore fucking serious fucker. But I'm not here to badmouth that asswipe. A little bit. But not mostly him. What was most notable is what happened later. she'd call me on the phone crying, and she'd say, I went out on a date with this guy, and we get to the dessert portion of the night, and he says, would you like some dessert? And I said, yeah, I'd like some chocolate cake. And there was a pause. Ski, he paused. What did the pause mean? I'm like, it was just a pause while he tried to figure out what he wanted for dessert. Maybe, I don't know. She's like, well, what if it was that again? What if he was looking at me and saying, maybe you shouldn't have a chocolate cake? And she began seeing this. It was a God of the gaps. Every time that there was a pause, or maybe somebody looking at her stomach or her butt or something that she didn't like, she'd think that's what it was. It doesn't matter if that's what it actually was. It was the thought that it could be. Let's put that in the third bubble. And now I'd like to bring these all together. I know I've taken you on a kind of a weird wandering path. But I'd like you to take the lessons from all three of these things. And I'd like to ask you a question. What if you were a person of color and somebody said, why you gotta play the race card? Why can't you just let it go? What if you're a trans person who'd been screamed at? What if somebody yelled the N-word at you while driving down the road? In all of these cases, in all of these sexism, racism, transphobia, homophobia, in all of these cases, it is inevitable that somebody in the conversation will say, why can't you just let it go? You can't let it go because it's the dog that motherfucking bit you.
Right.
We like to think of ourselves as rational, but I would like to encourage you to remember that we are also emotional animals. And when the dog bites you, you flinch. Not just once, but for years. You have to work to make that reflex calm down, to smooth it out. It doesn't matter that maybe the person who's looking at you funny isn't a racist, but you know, it's the dog that bit you. What if it is? Once you've seen inside of what a person thinks, once some sewer of a person has opened up their mouth and really told you what they think, you kind of think you see it in everyone. You hear it in the things that they're not saying. You hear it in the way that they're looking at you, or the way their body stance changes, or the way they clutch the purse or walk to the other side of the street. You hear it because it's the dog that bit you. It's the God of the gaps. It doesn't have to be real to be real.
Yes. Responsible, comedy.
Thank you.
Thank you.